Today is, what is it, August 29th. It's Thursday, so it was the second block day. And we learned angles today, which involved little plus little equals big again, as well as learning about what a bisector is and how to create an equation in a situation where you have a bisector. I'm not teaching any geometry in this. I'm just going over, I told you I would go create an algebra video that goes over some of the more common algebra that you're going to see in geometry. So this doesn't cover everything, but it covers probably 75%, if not more, of the types of algebra you'll need. So I showed you in class. I'll go back one. Yeah. So I showed you the vocabulary page, and then I think at the bottom, I might have missed this in some classes. We didn't actually do anything with it, but I said, well, these are this box right here covers the majority of the algebra you need. It's nothing super, super complex. All of you should be able to do this level of algebra. And if you're not able to do it, you have to get on IXL. You can get on Alex. You can go to tutoring. But if you can't do this level of algebra that you're looking at in that red box, it's going to be really tough to pass geometry. So with that in mind, I'm just going to start with that same box. I'm going to work through these, and I actually have a couple other worksheets. I might do a couple extra ones. Oh, here it is. Looking for my stylus. All right, so first one, very simple level of algebra. It's a two-step equation. You're going to do two things, and you'll have the answer. So if I write, let's do that. Let's go with blue. So if I write the equation, 3x subtract 9 equals 180. Again, that wouldn't be a beginning equation typically you would start with, but certainly once you've done the first step of combining like terms, you could definitely see something like that, because we learned today there are situations where the little plus the little is going to equal 180 as the big. That was a linear pair, which we talked about when you basically have a line that gets split into two separate angles. So this is a pretty common finishing part of that equation. So with that in mind, I normally teach it by saying save the number with the variable for last. Other teachers will say start farthest from the variable as your first step. Regardless of how you do it, we need to get x all by itself. So eventually our final answer is going to look something like that. So we need x all by itself. So basically we need to get all the numbers moved to the other side. We don't want any numbers where the x is in this problem, or really in any problem, but with this problem especially. So to get rid of the numbers, I have to know to start here first. Again, I say save the number with the x for last, or you can think of it as starting farthest away from the x, which is sort of the subtract 9 part. I get rid of it. I want to get rid of that subtract 9. The way we get rid of anything is to do opposite math. So if it's subtract 9 I'm trying to get rid of, that's why I add 9. And the number one rule of equations, draw a line. And I saw kids make this mistake today when they were solving. The number one rule is whatever I do on one side, I have to do to the other side of the equal sign. So I have to add 9 on the other side. Kids don't normally make that mistake in this kind of problem, but I'll show you what they do in the next time. So now I have a 189 over here. Oh, my pen never works. I don't have that anymore. That goes to 0. I don't need it if it goes to 0. And I have that. Now you have to understand 3x means 3 times x. Well, if I'm multiplying right here, 3 times x, I need to do the opposite math to get rid of the 3. So I divide. So 3 goes into 18,6, goes into 9,3, and then there's my answer for x. It's not going to happen in these because I'm just doing algebra. Remember, it needs to be an automatic thing. As soon as you solve for the variable, go back and read the question so you can see whether or not they wanted you to solve for maybe a part of the image or something. Very rarely will you just be solving for X on the state tests and even the district tests. Most likely you're going to need to plug that back in and solve for something else. All right. So now, next one. Here's where the mistakes start. 2x plus 10x subtract 9 equals 90. Again, 90 is involved. We could definitely see 90 in some equations by itself. So if you will notice, now we have two terms with x in it. I have to get x all by itself. We said our final answer is always going to be x equals some number. I got to get x by itself, and I got to get all the numbers to the other side. Well, if I have x in two different groups, I need to get them into one group. Can't get x all by itself if I got x's in two different places, or more than two. So here's the first thing you got to remember. If the variables are on the same side as the equal sign, which these are, the two circled terms with x are on the same side of that equal sign, the left side. That's when you just combine them. You just say, okay, well, if I got two x's plus 10 x's, that's 12 x's. Really quickly, two x's is like having two x's. 10 x's is like having 10 x's. So if I have two x's and 10 x's, it's 12 x's. Here is the most common mistake I see. Still do that. Kids go, oh, I want to subtract the 10x. I got to get rid of that x. So I'm going to subtract 10x and then combine it with this by subtracting 10x. I cannot do that. I just broke the number one rule of solving equations. When I subtracted this first 10x, I should have subtracted 10x over here. If I'm going to do that, you shouldn't do that in the first place, because subtracting 10x on the right does you no good. Now you just have 10x on the right and then 2x on the left, or really 8x. So you wouldn't ever do that anyway. If the x's are on the same side, you do not do anything underneath. You don't do anything underneath the equation. They're on the same side, you just combine them together. So that's the first big mistake I see. Kids trying to do something underneath the equation when they don't need to. So I just combine these two, 12x. I bring down the subtract 9 and then equals 90. So now, again, two-step equation. So I'm going to do it pretty quick. I do that. Well, if I do it on one side, I do it over here. That's 99. I then have 12x. Well, just like the other problem, that means I need to get rid of it by dividing. I don't have a calculator. What's that going to be? 96, I believe. Yeah, so 8 1/4 is what that is. 8.25, I believe, if you do something and get it different. I'm not checking that with a calculator, but I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm kind of surprised that comes out with a decimal there, but you can get decimals. A lot of kids are like, think they got a wrong answer when they get a decimal. Decimals are numbers. You may want to check your math again just to make sure sometimes, but you can get decimals, you can get fractions. So that's how you do it. When they are on the same side, you just combine them. You don't subtract or do anything underneath the equation. You just combine them into one term with x. Next. Oh, wait a second. That 15x. So here's the next challenging one. Equals 12x plus 51. So now a little bit different. Now I have x terms that are on opposite sides of the equal sign. Again, goal is still the same. I want to get x all by itself and get all the numbers to the other side. So if I have x's in two different places, somehow I have to get them into one group. And if they were in three different places, I would still have to get them into one group. I cannot just combine these into one group by just saying 15x's plus 12x's is 27x. First of all, how would you even know which side to put it on, the left or the right side? But that is totally incorrect, because that's the equivalent of saying, oh, well, I'm going to add the 12x over here to get to 27x. But the problem with that, again, is you broke the number one rule of solving. I cannot add 12x over there without adding it over here. And now I would just have 24x over here. I didn't do any good. I still have x's on both sides. So if you make sure you just never break that number one rule, it solves a lot of the mistakes that I see kids make. So the correct way to do this, and if you just have to memorize this stuff, memorize it. If you have x terms on opposite sides of the equal sign, some on the left, some on the right, the way you combine them into one group is you have to think about, I didn't mean to do that. I'm just going to leave those circles. You have to think about getting rid of them on one side. So if I get rid of them on one side, 12x, and the way I do that is just subtract them. If you have 12x's and you want to get rid of them, take them away. If it was subtract 12x instead, then you would add 12x to cancel them out. Opposite math. That will now take that to 0, so I got rid of it. Well, number one rule is whatever I do on one side, got to do on the other side. So now I get down again to a two-step equation. And normally, after your first step, you will oftentimes already be at a two-step equation. So that's my two-step. So same process. I need to get rid of that number first. Well, if I do it on one side, I got to do it on the other side. That is 9. 3x, divide by 3, divide by 3. X equals 3. I want you to stop the video or pause the video and try to solve number 4. It's pretty similar to number 3. So pause it, try to solve it, and then you can watch what I do and see if you got the correct answer. So hopefully you tried it. 9x plus 1. Again, I have x's on opposite sides of the equal sign. I cannot just combine those by saying 9x plus 17x. I have to think about getting rid of them on one side. It doesn't matter which side you get rid of them on. I will sometimes get rid of them on the left, sometimes on the right. Getting rid of the one that has the smallest number of x's. So that's 9x's, that's 17x's. Getting rid of the one with the smallest number of x's will mean you don't have to necessarily deal with a negative sign sometimes. But if you just want to always get rid of the ones on the right, just as a process, that's fine. You have calculators, dealing with negatives shouldn't be a big deal. So whatever I do on one side, I got to do on the other. So it's a little tricky, but again, you have calculators. If I have 9 x's and I'm subtracting 17 x's away from that, I'm going to go into the negative. Again, use your calculator if you're not sure how to do it. So this would be negative 8x. Bring down the 1. That goes away. That's why I did it. And don't forget to bring down the negative in front of the 31. A lot of kids will forget that. Whatever is in front of a number has to stay with that number wherever it goes. So that negative has to stay with that 31. So I subtract 1. Whatever I do on one side, I got to do on the other side. So negative 31 subtract 1 is negative 32. Negative 8x here. Again, you have a calculator. So I'm just going to do it. Divide by the negative. Remember, wherever that 8 goes, that negative sign has to go with it. Whatever sign is in front of a term has to stick with it. Well, whatever I do on one side, I got to do on the other. And now using your calculators, you should be able to get positive 4 for that. So that's those 4 problems. Hopefully you tried 4 on your own. I'm going to go to a worksheet and just work through a few of them. I think I have it over here. Yeah. Let's see. You can see that okay. I'm not going to zoom in. So again, these are like terms. Oops, shoot. How do I? There we go. Hopefully this works. So these are like terms. They have A's, it's 6 A's and 5 A's to be exact. So if I have 6 A's and I'm adding 5 A's, that's 11 A's. But anytime you have same letters, you can combine them. Those are like terms and they're on the same side. So you just combine them. These are like terms because they both have an end on the same side. So we're just going to combine them. Same thing here. B, in this case, we don't have any X's, but numbers are like terms. So we would just combine the 6 and the 3. Anytime they are on the same side of the equal sign, you just combine them. You don't do anything underneath the equation to try to like, so, cancel them out or anything. Again, same side, so we would just combine them. The R's, same side, we would just combine them. All of these look like they're same side. So you would just combine those, combine those, combine those, combine those. I'm not going to do all of these. Why is that not working? And so it's probably, shoot, I don't know how to get it off of the pin. Anyway, I guess I'll just have to leave all that red on there. So again, 6A plus 5A is 11A. That equals 11. I just bring the 11 down. Now I'm already at division. There's nothing to subtract or add because that is 11 times A. So I do the opposite of multiply, which is divide, which means I divide there. So A equals 1 for that problem. Again, kind of a similar problem. We just have negatives. 6 negative ends is really the way you would say that. And then I have 2 more negative ends. That is -8n. In a calculator, you would say -6 subtract 2. Or you could say -6 plus -2. That equals 16 on the right. Well, I divide wherever that 8 goes, the negative sign has to go with it. Do not forget that. That's a big mistake kids make. And even if you use a calculator, you'll get it wrong if you don't know to use that negative. So n equals -2. Again, you have a calculator, so I'm not explaining why. Let's see. Where's a little bit trickier than here? Here's a good one down here because we have that R right there, and there's no number in front of it. Again, if you remember, this is just 8 R's. 8 times R is really the same thing as 8 R's. Well, here's another R. So I'm really just saying, okay, well, 8 R's plus one more R is 9R. Or the other thing you might remember, if you see a variable without a number in front of it, there's technically a 1. So that's really 1R. So if I say 1R plus 8R, they are on the same side of the equation. So I just add them together. I do not subtract 8R or try to subtract R underneath or any of that. I don't say, I mean, it actually would probably still work out, but I don't really say plus 8R underneath or anything. You just say R plus 8R. That is 9R. I didn't really give myself room. Shoot. Do not know how to get this off of the pin, unfortunately. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. Oh, wait, let me try this. This one works. Alt tab may get me there. Or maybe not. Oh, wait, hold on. That might be it down there. No, shoot. Well, unfortunately, I'm just going to start it over here. So 9R plus 11, because I still have that 11, equals 29. Well, now I got to do a two-step equation, so I need to get rid of the 11. Whatever I do on one side, I got to do on the other. That gives me 18 equals 9R. Well, now I'm to the division step. So R equals 2. Any other ones really that I'm worried about there? I knew it was going to do that. I have no idea how to get rid of that pin function. Um, I normally do this in Smart Notebook, but they added this new feature to the laptops that I was trying to use, but now I don't know how to use it. I don't, I don't even know how to get back to anything. Here, I'm going to go back to Smart Notebook. Go back to Smart. This I know how to use. All right, so I'm just, ooh, that didn't work. Huh. It's now not working here either. I cannot get off of the pin. Keep using the, man, I have no idea how to get rid of that. That may be the end of the video. Why is it not taking me back to the, oh wait, that might be, hold on, that might be it right there. Nope, that didn't work. Yeah, I have zero clue how to use this new feature and get it back on the screen. Can't even minimize anything to try to get to it. I would have thought that would have been it right there. So that may, oh, I can at least show you this. I don't know if I'll even be able to scroll. So I've already, I mean, in the past, I did this. I assigned a whole bunch of IXLs. Still making mark. Can I do that? Oh, there we go. All right, now we're in business. Particular, yes, I do. All right. So I may go back and do a couple more now that I figured out how to do it. Oh, still haven't figured out how to do it. Let's try that again. There we go. Or maybe not. Oh, oh shoot. How did I get to that thing? This is kind of annoying. Is it that? Oh. Um, it's still making marks. Totally forgot what I was or how I got back to that. I totally forgot how I got lucky and got. Oh, I know. Did I hit? No, I hit a button. Eh? Well, I don't believe I can even. Let me see if that will work. Nope, can do it that way. I'm down, maybe. Nope, that didn't work. Oh, that doesn't work. What in the world did I do to? Oh, wait, did I do? Maybe I just click on that. There we go. So I right click. All right, so I think this is what I need to go to. Yes. So if you notice in your IXL, when you go in there, first of all, I've assigned a bunch of geometries. I hopefully know how to do this. If you see the G in front, oh, that was really, that means they're geometry. Those are all about angles. Make sure you start, got it down now. Make sure you start at the very first one. Don't start at the difficult ones. The one that says angle vocabulary. So if you're not sure what I'm talking about, that one right there, angle vocabulary. And then you would work your way up through the angle ones. They should hopefully be in order. I don't know if it'll be top to bottom for you, but should sort of be in order. Let's see what else. Now you see the algebra ones. Anything with an A in front of it. Bed for this. So you see A's. Anything with an A in front of it is algebra. And you'll notice there are, well, actually on that page, there are none of them. But if you scroll down, you'll see some that say solve equations. Those are the ones you want. So anything that says solve, it even goes all the way to one-step equations if you're really still trying to learn equations. So all of those right there you can practice. And IXL will give you help. So that's good help. So I'm not going to worry about doing any more. Practice the algebra. Maybe when we get to different types of algebra, I'll do another one of these videos with that type of algebra, but um, that should be enough to get you through certainly the next 2 or 3 quizzes, I think. And now I know how to use this new feature a little bit better. So, well, or maybe I don't. Ha, there we go.